Bhagavad Gita, we were on 2.7. So please sing after me. कार्पण्य दोषोपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढचेतः
Arpanyatoshopahatas svabhavaha Prichami dvandharma samudacetaha
यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्
Yajreyaha Syannishitam Bruhitanme Shisyaste Hamsadimantvam Prapanam
We sing.
Karpanya dosho bhata svabhavaha Prichami tvam dharma samudacetaha
कार्पण्यदोषोपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः
Shreyahasyan nishitam bruhitam me shisyaste hamsadimam tvam prapanam.
यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. So do you remember what we discussed in this verse?
So Arjuna was feeling some kind of weakness of heart, and this was really overwhelming him, as previously he had seen that his the acharyas were lined up, and that what would be the purpose of this.
Yes, and basically in this verse we saw that now finally he's surrendering to Krishna. That, oh Krishna, I am your disciple now and please guide me. What he said.
Yes.
So now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. We saw miser means stingy. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me because I am confused and I am unable to decide. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. So now Arjuna is actually very, very serious. Plus, he is sincere about receiving a guidance from Krishna. That's why he's saying that I am a surrendered soul. Now I'm surrendering to you. I am your disciple. So please guide me. So, it is said that when a person, when is the time when a person should approach a spiritual master? When he is able to see that all my efforts are not giving me any happiness, no matter how hard I am trying, how much efforts I am putting, but those are not giving me any happiness. So when he is able to see that this material world is a world of misery, then he should approach a spiritual master. Just like we will see people, they are getting married, and they are basically settling themselves, they are settling their grahastha ashram, assuming that they will be happy. I'm not against grahastha ashram, but like we'll see people, they are making so many plans that, oh, if I will get a job, then I'll be happy. Oh, if I'll get married, then I'll be happy. Oh, if I'll have kids, I'll be happy. So like this endlessly people are trying, they are putting lots of efforts, thinking, assuming that they'll get happy. their endeavor will give them happiness, but they are failing. Yesterday only there was a person, and he's chanting because I told him that please you should chant. He's preparing for exam. So later he was telling me that, oh, soon I will get a job, then I'll get married. Then I said, oh, then what after that? So you say, whatever happens, that will happen. So I asked, what will happen? So he said that then kids, and then I will roam on places with my wife. Then I said, then after that? So he was confused that why she's asking so many questions and what does she mean. So he was not able to answer because people, they have no time to think that why are they actually surviving, why are they actually doing a job or getting married. They are assuming it as a part of life, or it's something which is natural, which everyone have to do, which everyone should do, and no one is thinking beyond this. What we call that, they are following uh what we call that,
Following the crowd.
crowd, or we say crowd of sheeps, right?
Mhm.
So this is a sheep. When she sees a crowd is moving in certain direction, so she does not think that, oh, why they are moving that direction, why not this direction. She simply start following the crowd. So this is what it's happening. So yes, we saw in this verse, we didn't actually dived into this verse in previous session. Today we'll do that. But yes, let's just understand. Arjuna is asking from Krishna, then that Krishna, you please guide me. And we saw Shre. Uh, Shre means whose benefit we cannot see now, just now, but we will be able to see the benefit in future. But a conditioned soul is always after Vyakt Upasana. Vyakt Upasana means that whatever he sees right now in present time, so he is very much interested in following that only. If he is seeing fruits, that, oh, I'll get fruits of my outcome right now, or just after a few days, then he is very eager to invest his time and energy in that particular thing. But he is not very much interested in shreya. Shreya means the benefit of which we'll get in future, later.
Mhm.
So yes, this is the very condition of a conditioned soul. And bruhi means nishchitam. Yes, nishchitam bruhi. So nishchitam means certainly, which will benefit me. Bruhi, you please speak that. So from this we can understand that whenever a spiritual master speak, then only we will be able to understand what is our shreya. This is very important, that only when spiritual master speak, just like Srila Prabhupada is speaking, he's clearly in in the form of his books, and recordings are also there, he's speaking, then only people are able to understand their shreya. So I think we discussed this in our previous class also. Guru means who convinces his disciple that when he is practicing devotional services, he is not wasting his time. That is real spiritual master. A spiritual master is not, Moni. Moni means who do not speak. He is not spiritual master. Because you will see any person who has knowledge about Krishna, he would be enthused to speak about Krishna. He would be very much enthusiastic to speak about Krishna. And you can see in ISKCON there are many sannyasis who are, if we talk externally, their physical health is not very nice, but then also they are very eager, very enthusiastic to speak about Krishna. So, whenever a person knows something about Krishna, he has knowledge, so he will speak. He cannot stay without speaking. So, Bruhi means spiritual master will speak. So, yes, Arjuna is saying that, oh, please, you speak. Now I am your disciple. I surrender unto you. So, later we will see that now Krishna, from the next verse, he will start speaking. And now he will keep on speaking. There would be no scope of Arjuna to speak now. He will keep on speaking, speaking, speaking till the end of Bhagavad Gita. So we will see Krishna will speak so many things, even those things which Arjuna has not even asked from him. So this shows that a spiritual master is very much interested, is very much eager to tell all those things, to speak all those uh, things to his disciple, which will benefit his disciple. Even if the disciple has not asked, but a spiritual master is so much enthusiastic to speak so much about the topics which will benefit his disciple. So yes, like that. Now let's see the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. This verse illustrates the principle of acceptance of service to Guru as proven by the Shruti statements. So see, service to Guru means accepting and following his instructions. This is actually what it means to serve Guru. What does it mean to serve Krishna? To accept and follow the instructions of Krishna. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, is telling, you please offer me your food, you pay obeisances to me, you offer your homage to me. So, like that, when we are actually following his instructions, and this is service to him. So, service to Guru or Krishna means to follow the instructions. Okay, let's see. Tad Vijnanarthan Tad Vijnanaartham sa Gurum eva vigachet Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Holding firewood in one's hand with attitude of service, one should certainly approach the Guru who has knowledge of the Vedas and is fixed in Brahman. Brahman means God, for gaining knowledge of Lord. Mundak Upanishad 1.2.11. Now, this is very important because today you will see people, they accept such spiritual master, means when they are accepting a spiritual master, then they are not conscious to whom they are accepting as their spiritual master. They just want a stamp that, oh yes, I am initiated and I have a guru. But you will see many people, especially in India, they have spiritual master, and but they never approach their spiritual master for any knowledge. So recently it was Guru Purnima, and in my family, I mean not family members, but there are many relatives. So on this day they were visiting to their spiritual master, and throughout the day, throughout the year, they never visit their spiritual master. They only visit on Guru Purnima, and that is also as a tradition or a ritual type. But they really don't have to do anything with their spiritual master. And it's, I'm giving example of relatives, but it's with everyone. So today, people follow things as ritual. That's it. But they are not conscious about why they are following certain things. So there are many, examples of this. My instructing master was telling that once a person came in ISKCON and he was already initiated with 5 spiritual masters.
It can be impossible.
Yes, so people, they change spiritual masters like this, thinking that just simply initiation will liberate them. But it's not possible. Srila Prabhupada himself say this, that I cannot liberate you. I can give you the process, but liberation, only bhakti can liberate you. Initiation, simply initiation cannot liberate one. It's not like initiation is not important, but simply initiation is not enough for liberation. One has to practice his devotional services, one has to please Krishna, only then he'll be able to go back to Krishna. There was one Mataji, I met her in Vrindavan. She's from Prabhuji's group only. So, her material name was different, but then she also had a spiritual name. So, I knew that she is initiated. But because she was not initiated from ISKCON, so now she was assuming that I need to, because now I am following ISKCON, so I need to uh, take another initiation. She already had an initiation in Vrindavan only from one of the Babajis, and it's not that Babaji was fake. He was also a great devotee, but she was assuming like this, that I need to take another initiation. But this is not proper. Even you will see when Brahma, he appeared from the lotus navel of Krishna. So he was also not aware that, oh, why am I here? What to do? So Krishna, he he didn't say chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Krishna said tapa, tapa, tapa 3 times. So tapa means you do some tapasya, some austerity. So you will see here also Krishna in the form of Adi Guru is instructing Lord Brahma himself. He's teaching to Lord Brahma that, oh, you perform some austerity. Only then you will be able to understand that who you are. So like that. So you can see it's very much important that people, they practice bhakti, practice devotional services. Only then they will be able to get realizations. We have to earn our own realizations. Simply initiation will not give us realization. That's why, uh, a devotee who is endeavoring for initiation, he is so much enthusiastic in his devotional services than a person who is initiated already. Now, this is not a blanket rule, because there are devotees who are initiated, so they are also serving nicely, very enthusiastically. But generally, it is seen that after initiation, devotees, they think that, oh, now I am free, so I really don't have to be very serious. But actually, that is the very time to get more serious, to intensify our sadhana when one is initiated. So once, a person, he asked Prabhupada, he was hearing from Prabhupada the lecture. So he asked Prabhupada that, oh, Prabhupada, I already had a spiritual master, but when I am hearing from you, then only I'm able to understand that why I am in this world and what is my real relationship with God. So shall I quit my already existing spiritual master? So Prabhupada told him this thing, That spiritual master means he is a representative of God and he will tell you about God. But if a person, he's claiming to be a spiritual master, but he's not telling anything about God or how you can serve God nicely and progress in your life, then he is a spiritual master in name only. So it's very important to whom we accept our spiritual master. Okay, let's see. You want to say something?
Um, yeah, I think we have to really want to do the practice. And yeah, just thinking how when devotees have reached out to Krishna in the past times, in wherever it was, whether it was um, where in Yamuna River there was some infestation of this demon in the form of some kind of snake. And they're asking Sri Krishna to help them. They really want, they really want that. They're not just saying it, passing by. It's like it's really meaning. And and so I think whether it is also with not just because we want to seek shelter or because there is something pressing, we can also be with praise. But and actually I just remember there was something else that when you said that they think liberations may be guaranteed. um it's interesting that as is this true that as you become a more serious devotee, you will be tested? Maybe your challenges, do they become still they would present themselves?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so just realizing on these things, sometimes we may have some difficulty, and Krishna is there for us, and yet sometimes a challenge can it will be higher level the challenge.
But every time we pass a challenge, we progressed even more. We became more stronger than before because now we passed that challenge.
Mm, yeah, that's
And also, Krishna only gives those challenges which we can actually tolerate. He will never give something which we cannot tolerate or handle. So we should, have. Um we should be conscious that, oh, these are just tests and challenges and I need to still continue whatever I'm doing, my chanting, my hearing. So like, okay, let's see. Acharyavan purusho veda, the person who has a guru knows the Lord. Chandog Upanishad 6.14.2. So it's very very important to hear from spiritual master. Only then a person will be able to know the God, the Lord. And Krishna will, speak this in fourth chapter. That it's very important that, we cannot approach Krishna directly. We can approach Krishna through spiritual master. Spiritual master is a person who holds our hand and he takes us to Krishna. So, yes. The word Karparnya indicates a person with no knowledge of Brahman, as seen from the Shruti statement, Yo va etat aksharam gargya aviditva asma lokat preti sa kripana. So now, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan is elaborating more on the definition of Karpanya. We saw Karpanya means a miser, a person who is miser. So he's elaborating more. O Gargi, he who leaves this world without knowing Brahman is called Kripan. How? Because, even after getting this human form of life, he didn't utilize his time in understanding his relationship with God. So he was not able to benefit even himself by this. Then what to say of others? So you will see, if a person is practicing Krishna consciousness, so he is benefiting himself also, and he is benefiting others also. We discussed this, that how if we are serving Krishna, so our family members will also get liberated. They will also get benefit. They also get benefit if we are serving Krishna. Even if, they are not externally, we are not seeing they are serving Krishna, but because they are our family members, so they also get benefit. Right? Because, some or other, we are in this world, and Krishna made that particular lady a medium. She became our mother, and because of her or father, because of them, we took birth, isn't it? We didn't drop from sky. We took birth, and Krishna made them a medium. So just see this, they are also special people, because, in everyone's house, not every person is a devotee. Every means there is not even a single person who is devotee. If you see other houses or other, family, so not in every family any person is a devotee. So if you are in a particular family, you are serving Krishna, you are a devotee. So first of all, that is not by chance, and Krishna has made them a medium. So they are also special. They are also not ordinary. So, right now, third canto, and, a chapter is going on of Lord Kapil Deva. And he is sharing this knowledge with her mother, that a person who is serving Krishna in this life, it's not by chance. He prayed in the womb of mother from Krishna. Only then he got chance to serve Krishna. So, it is mentioned, it's very interesting, that it's not like every person who is in the womb is praying. Only that person who served Krishna in his past life, and now, by chance, he was not able to go back to Godhead. So he again took birth. He is in the womb of a mother, and now he is able to recall that, oh, how I got distracted and I didn't give my full to serve Krishna, and, so that I may go back to Krishna. So now again, I am again in this material world, in this miserable place, in the womb of mother, and he's suffering so much, and he's praying from Lord that, please, please, Krishna, give me this last chance. I promise I will utilize this time. I will utilize this human form of life this time. I'll give my full to serve you and to go back to you. So, yes, he is praying, and because of that prayer, Krishna gave him another chance. Because otherwise, you will see, people, there are many kids who are even in the womb, but they are not able to take birth. You might have heard, some cases miscarriage happen, or people, out of ignorance, they abort the child. So there are many cases. So it's not ordinary that a person took birth in this human form of life, and if he's serving Krishna in this life, so it's not by chance. He served Krishna in his past life, and then he prayed from Krishna in the womb of mother, and now he got the chance to serve Krishna again. So it's not by chance at all. I was getting goosebumps when I was hearing this. It's very interesting. So, in future we will also discuss it when we'll start our Srimad Bhagavatam. So, yes, it's some nectar which I shared. So, yes, are you seeing the meaning of Kripan here? Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan is elaborating it even more, that he got this human form of life. So, he was not able to benefit himself by utilizing this opportunity. Then, what to say of benefiting others? So, this is how he is crippled, because he left the world without knowing Brahman. Brihad Arnak, Brihadarnyak Upanishad 3.8.10. You want to say something?
No, I'm listening. It's okay.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Because of the lack of knowledge of Brahman, Karpanya, I have developed the fault, dosha, of possessiveness of family members, as mentioned in the previous verse. This in turn has caused me to develop weakness of nature, upahata svabhavaha, making me give up my desire to fight as a kshatriya. So we saw how in the case of Arjuna he was Karpanya, because being kshatriya he is not able to benefit, because he is stepping back, withdrawing himself from his swadharma. So, yes, my mind is bewildered about my duty. Dharma samudha chetaha. Having doubt whether my duty is the Kshatriya dharma of fighting, or giving that up and wandering around begging. Because I am in that state, I now ask you. So, yes, although Arjuna said that, oh, better is I should go in the forest and beg for food, although he was saying this, but then also he was not certain if this is right for me or not. That's why now, because he's confused, so he's approaching Krishna. See, having doubt whether my duty is the Kshatriya dharma of fighting, or giving that up and wandering around begging. So he's confused, he's in doubt, he's not sure what to do. So, but again, he is not coward. And it's very important to understand, when Krishna went to Duryodhana as a messenger, so he didn't go there to beg from Duryodhana. He went to Duryodhana for asking 5 villages, which was very right of Pandavas. Actually, it was not right. There, they should give more, but at least if they were not giving that, so at least give 5 villages. So Krishna was not begging. He was, he went to Duryodhana uh, for asking, which is the right of Pandavas. So yes, okay. So yes, now I ask you. Tell me, what is the conclusion, Nishchitam, which will bring about the most benefit for me, Shreyaha. That advice will be beneficial if it brings definite results from practice, ekantikam, and brings permanent result, not subject to change after being established, atyantikam. So Arjuna is saying that please tell me something which will really benefit me, and which will benefit me eternally, not for just some point of time. And because now Arjuna's heart was full of faith that whatever Krishna will tell me, that would be for my benefit. That's why he was approaching to Krishna. So we discussed this point also. Only when we have faith in a person, then only we follow his guidance. So this shows the greatest faith of Arjuna. That's why he surrendered himself to Krishna. Now Krishna is saying this blue text means blue boy Krishna. Let's see. The Shruti speaks of surrender for obtaining the teachings. In such statements as the following, so surrender means, what does it mean to surrender? Surrender speaks of surrender for obtaining teachings. Now, we discussed this, that service means a person will follow the teachings, these instructions. So surrender means that you know, he will follow the instructions of spiritual master as it is, without any change. So see, tad vigyanartham sa gurum eva bigachet. This was just quoted above. We read this. Therefore, how can I teach you who are my friend? So Krishna is saying that, oh, we are friends, and this was definite that they were friends. So Krishna is saying that, how can I teach you? We should surrender to someone who can teach us. Basically, we should surrender to a guru, to a spiritual master. But how can I teach you? You are my friend. I'm not your spiritual master. Although, Krishna already became a spiritual master of Arjuna in 2.2 only. He started chastising to Arjuna. Uh, uh, yes, he was chastising to Arjuna. Kutastava kashmalamidam. That from where you got this idea, this dirt, Arjuna. Stand up, fight. So, like that. But now he's, saying that, you are my friend, so how can I teach you? But on this, Arjuna is saying, I'm now your student. Please teach me, Chadhi. So I am surrendering you, O Krishna. Now I'm your student. I am your disciple. So now, as I am your disciple, so you please teach me, and I will follow it seriously and sincerely. So now, Krishna would be pleased from Arjuna's surrenderedness, and, then he will start giving the knowledge, Atma Jnana, to Arjuna. So, this is the very quality, this should be a very quality of a disciple, that he should surrender unto his spiritual master. And, I heard this in a lecture, that when we are approaching a spiritual master, that means we are selling ourselves to spiritual master. That took, oh, my spiritual master. Spiritual master means bona fide spiritual master, not cheater or speculators. That, oh, my spiritual master, now I am selling myself to you. So selling means, now, you know I was thinking that everything this belongs to me. Nothing belongs to me. Now I'm selling myself to you, and I will follow as it is whatever you instruct me. And a spiritual master who is a representative of Krishna, he will always instruct us in a way which would be, beneficial for us to take us back to Krishna. So, like that. Okay, let's see the purport of Prabhupada now. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. So, yes, people, they are engaged in materialistic activities, and they are very much confused about. Confused means they are confused about the purpose of life. In every step, there is perplexity. And therefore, it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. So, we discuss this only when one approaches a spiritual master, then only he will be able to understand that what he really needs to do. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happen without our desire. And yes, and it's quite interesting that we have not yet approached a spiritual master, but then also, everything is accessible to us. We are able to understand that what we have to do in life. So it's because of causeless mercy of Prabhupada that, he has made everything so accessible to us. And we are able to understand everything from our very home. So, like that. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anymore. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear. Yes, we never endeavor for any difficulties in life, but they automatically comes without our wanting such confusion. So, this is the conclusion basically that this material world is not our real home. Our real home is some other place, a place for which we really hanker. We always hanker for happiness, we always hanker for eternality, permanency. We hanker for happiness and no distress. We hanker for blissfulness. So, but we do not find such things in this material world. Only flickering happiness is there, and that is actually not happiness. It's just illusion. So yes, this can never be our real home, because whatever our desires are, they are not getting fulfilled here. So, how can this be our real home? No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. Fire means, difficulties and distress. No one wants it, but still it comes, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything, every, every solution he knows about every problem. Basically, the solution is that you serve Krishna. And on this, you will see Prabhupada has really emphasized on chanting Hare Krishna, because only, this holy name will give us Krishna. So, I will also request you to read such texts which may enthuse you to make chanting your priority. So we should try to chant extra, whatever we are, whatever rounds we are chanting, we should try to chant extra throughout the day, or at least at night. I do this as a stimulation activity. I chant for half an hour and so that and that time I do not um, focus on numbers. At that time I focus on that I'm now sitting here, I have no work to do. I just wind up everything and I sit, and at that time I just try to hear holy name very nicely, because that time I just think like this time is for me and for Krishna, and this time is to awake my relationship with Krishna. So I try to chant the holy names, the Mahamantra, in a way that I'm hearing it. So let me share you some meditations you can try. I'm practicing these two these days. So when we are chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in whole Mahamantra, you try to hear only Hare. Hare Krishna. Try this with me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And whenever you are trying to hear only Hare from the complete Mahamantra, and you were able to hear it, so you uh, take it as a mercy of Srimati Radharani. That Srimati Radharani is bestowing her mercy on you only because of that reason you were able to hear Hare. Because Hare uh, is Srimati Radharani. So, this makes me very happy when I'm trying to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and when I'm only hearing Hare, 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 Hare. I'm speaking complete mantra, but Hare, 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 I'm hearing it and I'm able to hear it. So I see this like this that, oh, Srimati Radharani is very pleased and she's allowing me to hear Hare. This is one meditation. Another meditation is we hear this in scriptures that any name, one name can liberate us. Even a one name can liberate us. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells this in Shishtastakam, that if we are chanting in a humble mood, assuming ourselves humbler than a grass, tip of a grass, and we are, when we are chanting in that mood, avoiding all the offenses, then that way we can easily get ecstatic, and basically we can get love of Krishna. So any name can give us Krishna. So when you're chanting Mahamantra, try to chant it in a way, try to hear every holy name in a way that any holy name can give me Krishna. So I don't have to miss even a single name. So try to chant in this way. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So you're chanting the Mahamantra and you're chanting in a way that you don't have to miss even a one name, because any name can give you Krishna. So like this, you will see your chanting will become alive. You will feel very, happy. You will feel something when you're chanting. So we should, try to try such meditations when we are chanting, which may help us to improve our relationship with holy name, because this holy name will give us Krishna. And it's very easy, but it's complicated at the same time because this mind is monkey. So, yes, there are many things, but I'll share it later. Let's
Thank you.
complete our purpose. Yes. You want to say something?
Yeah, thanks for that
Meditation. Yes.
meditation advice.
Hmm. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master, because that is intelligence. Instead of remaining in material perplexities, one should approach a spiritual master, or one should approach a solution. My instructing master was telling this, that in 2003 December, he used to consume non-veg because he was from such background and he was not knowing that we should not do that. So he already quit it. He was not a part of ISKCON yet, but because he was interested in some yoga or something like that, so he read that, in order to live a virtuous life, one should not consume such things. So he already quit this. So, yes, he was already so much interested in yoga or something related to spirituality. So, later, after a few months, he got the association of devotees and he accepted Krishna consciousness. So, yes, it's very much important for a person that he should not remain in material perplexities, because when one is becoming conscious and thinking of a solution, that, oh, I really don't want distress, I don't want misery in my life, I don't want to become sick, then why these problems are coming in my life? So when a person starts thinking in this way, that is the time when Krishna will give him an opportunity, because this consciousness is not ordinary. People have no time, literally. I try to knock at everyone's doors, that, oh, you come chant, you please accept bhakti. But I see many people, they are literally working so hard, many many hours, that they have no time to even chant for 10 minutes. You won't believe, there was a boy, he's from India only, he was my, he was in my school in childhood. So now he went Africa for work, for business. So I called him and I told him that, oh, let's chant 10 minutes. You're very nice, so we can do it. So you won't believe, he said, oh, I have no time. I'm so busy. I have no time to even eat. I have no time to sleep. What to say of 10 minutes? So I said, okay, okay. Can you give your 1 minute to me? We can only chant 11 Maha Mantra. You won't believe, he didn't even chant 11 Maha Mantras. And I was surprised. How can someone be like that? It was very difficult for him to even chant one Maha Mantra. He was on call, he was saying that, oh, let's talk this, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. But he was not ready to chant Maha Mantra. And then I said that, he was saying that, oh, we will do from tomorrow, today is not the good time, we can do it tomorrow, I promise we'll do it from tomorrow. So that, okay, see you tomorrow, bye. Then next day when I texted him, so he made excuses that, oh, I'm somewhere in bank. He was sharing photos of bank, that, yo, I'm here, I'm really busy, this, that. So, then I decided not to disturb him. It's okay. But, I was very shocked that how can, people behave in such a way. And I'm not talking about, a person who is a foreigner. He was my very childhood friend, but he was behaving in such a way. Now, what to say? Kali Yoga. So you will see such people.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that when it comes to this, because of the nature of spirituality, sometimes people just want to find for themselves. And it's very rare that, someone reaches out and you have been looking for it. Um, yeah, um, yeah, I knew a devotee that always was approaching people and in London. And so because people are always saying, I don't have time, I don't have time. Then he thought, I'm gonna write a little book about Sri Krishna's Kala, and it will be called No Time. Because everyone, I mean, when people are like your friend in the city or, doing this, getting on with business, they just want to get, um, from one place to another destination. Um, so that their mindset is not on devotion. Sometimes it can be you know when uh, you know when online meetings started to become more popular. Sometimes I didn't want to miss if they were mainly to listen anyhow. So I would be going on my way to work and I would try to listen. And then I was feeling very energized. Um, but, we don't always do this.
Listen what? Listen what?
Um, if you know, there's some reading of Krishna Katha, for example, and it's mainly to listen, um, then yeah, a long time ago, then I was trying to listen, because if you have a phone, you can put headphones and listen, even if I'm on my way to work. Um, because it's not the kind of meeting you need to engage. Then listening is quite it keeps you always thinking of Krishna and always trying to you know engage in that sense. Of course, if you're going to have a proper um, devotionals or hearing in a way that you need to be fully present, then yeah, you need to do that as well. Um, yeah, I guess it's people are rebellious too. Like sometimes if someone tells you, about a different religion, then you're thinking, well, I don't think I'm interested right now. So um, that's why I'm thinking that people really need to have that wanting, and how can that happen is um yes, yeah, like the guru opens the door and plants the seed, and then that person needs to want to do that. That's what I don't know if it's making sense.
Yes, so the thing which you have mentioned about becoming rebellious, I have something very interesting to share with you. Yashomati Mataji shared this. Very interesting, I found it. That if one chant Jehovah or Allah, for example, why attributing God to that name? He's chanting God's name. So, suppose if any person is not accepting Krishna as God, he does not want to chant Krishna's name, but he's chanting other secondary names of God, attributing that name as God's name. Just like, people, they have different names for God: universe, supreme controller, Allah, Jehovah. Do you know many? Can you name some if you have some in your mind?
um well, because recently in Krishna consciousness, I think of Ishvara and these kind of names. um
People, they have certain names and they assume they basically s- uh, address God with that particular name which they have in their cultures. So yes, Mataji was telling this very interesting that these are secondary names, not primary. It is a name for Krishna occupying a position. So basically, Krishna is supreme personality. But if a person is, thinking uh, God, I mean, he's addressing God with supreme power or universe or other names. So he is, speaking secondary names of Krishna only. It's not different from Krishna. And yes, it is a name for Krishna occupying a position, the supreme controller, punisher, or whatever. It is a secondary name. So, yes, when they are chanting such secondary names also, then also they get benefit. So now we have you know, another way to preach people basically who follow certain cultures or other traditions. If they are not ready to chant Krishna, so we can encourage them to chant secondary names of Krishna, in whatever names they know for God. But probably, in your country, people are atheist, most of them. Is that so?
yes, like during December is Christmas time, and um It's partly pagan. I don't know if you've heard this term. So pagan was before um, the Christianity had come to the West. So they believe like in nature and different uh, demigods, but more to do with the seasons, change of um, mainly to do with nature. And so the celebrations were because of this system in pagan system. So then they try to put them together, and then so people go to big churches that are in the cities for Christmas, but they only do it like a ritual. Like you're saying, sometimes people do as a ritual, you were saying earlier on. So, people, I mean, it's even then it's very rare because people just want to meet for a party and open presents and eat, not thinking too much about celebrating something spiritual. Um, but it's supposed to be the reason why, people have these big holidays. So um, so yeah, people seem to have inclination when there is like a special day, and then sometimes they may acknowledge it. Um, if that is what you were wondering.
All right. But yeah, I really like this secondary names option. So let's see, I can try that. Even I tried it. There is a girl from Israel. So I don't know. She says that I already follow some spirituality. So let's see. I'll talk to her. I'm very
Mhm.
much interested in these things. So let's see. Okay. This is the purport of this verse. What? That one should not remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. Who is the man in material perplexities? It is he who does not understand the problems of life. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.8.10, the perplexed man is described as follows: Yo va etad aksharam garge aviditva smal lokat preti sa kripana. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human, and who has thus quit quits this world like the cats and dogs without understanding the signs of self realization. So, yes, we took birth as a Shudra or as a cat and dog. Basically, cat and dog means full of ignorance, don't know what to do with life. So, okay, we took birth like that, but we are actually not um, forced to die in that way, in the same way we took birth. So we took birth in ignorance, but we are not forced to die in ignorance. It is our very right, if we got this human form of life, to understand and to solve the problems of life, because only in this life we can do that. So we should utilize this opportunity. This human form of life is a most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. So, Prabhupada has given a very clear definition of what does it mean to be a miser. We also discussed it in Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan commentary that after getting this human form of life, a person is not even he is not able to even benefit himself, then what to say of others. On the other hand, there is a Brahmana who or he who is intelligent enough to utilize this body to solve all the problems of life. Ya etad aksharam Gargi vidit vasmal lokat preti sa brahmana. The kripanas or miserly persons waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. So they try to materially benefit others, their family, society, country. But this is actually not very nice thing because they are doing it on mental platform in the material conception of life, and they are actually not benefiting anyone because they are simply benefiting their bodies, and we are not this body. We saw an example where Prabhupada told that if a person is drowning in an ocean and a person went and saved his coat, but not that person, so he's not very intelligent. So same way, a person is overly affectionate for family, society and country, so he's only benefiting their bodies, gratifying their bodies, but uh, he's actually not benefiting them because that person is soul. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members, on the basis of skin disease. The Kripan thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripan thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals. Yes, who take care of children also. So I, gave few weeks ago, I gave an example of cat, isn't it? There were kittens with that cat, and that cat was lying, and her kittens means babies of cat. They were you know they were feeling so much secured and protected under the shelter of her mother, the cat. She was laying laying in such a way that those kitten, they were under her. I mean, I'm not able to explain it, but they were under her shelter and they were feeling so secure. So we can see this here also, that this attachment can be found even in the lower animals who take care of children also. So, I was assuming like this, that, oh, someday in life, in my life, past life, I was also a kitten, and I was also assuming this as happiness, that wow, I'm so secured in my mother's lap like this. But this is not true actually. This material world is so dangerous. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand, how dangerous, because anything can happen anytime in this world. We cannot know. Anything can happen anytime. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still, on account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks now. Talks between the master and the disciple are serious. And we discussed, Prabhupada told that one should not approach spiritual master for the things which are available in the market. Because one can buy those things from market as well. One should approach a spiritual master which he cannot get in market, means not the items, but the knowledge, the realized knowledge. So the talks between the master and disciple are serious, and now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. Here, how Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the Gita itself. And yet, foolish mundane scholars explain that one need not submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. There is no difference between Krishnas within and without. And one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. So you can see how Prabhupada is chastising to those people who are, think that Krishna is not a person and Krishna has not, spoke Bhagavad Gita. It's someone unborn within Krishna, or, someone inside from Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita. So, they are foolish people. So, with this, we went little fast here in the purport because we already discussed all the things, right? So, it was all clear. So, yes, with this, we have completed this verse. If you want to add something, then please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Mataji. Um, yeah, I appreciate that you bring up that, sometimes people may have other culture, and then that, we can inspire um, that Krishna consciousness in that sense. And yeah, apologies if my explanation of you know whether people are atheist or what are they. It's not a simple yes or no, because people are um, depending on something, according to something, then they may have an inclination. Um, mainly, of course, there are many people that do a constant practice, and I was thinking about a term that you also mentioned, and it is like when people say the universe, people say, "Oh, I hope that." Um, they may say, um, like the universe gives you, referring as God, and um, from a Krishna consciousness point of view, I think it's not quite far off, because like Vishnu, when he's lying um, in the cosmos, like the very very start of creation, you may see these paintings that devotees made of Vishnu lying.
Yes.
He is the universe. So I in a way, when people say, oh, I just believe like in the universe, then we can say, well, that's Vishnu. He is the universe. That's how I'm seeing it now.
Actually, universe is not Krishna. Universe is within Krishna. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita also, that universe is within him, and Krishna is, outside of universe. So it's both ways, like that.
Oh, like Gopala, like when he has mud, and his mother Yashoda sees all the cosmos inside. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that is also one thing. But in Bhagavad Gita also, he will, mention this, that how complete universe is inside him, and he is outside the whole universe. So like that. So basically, point is that everything belongs to Krishna. Uh, Nothing is different from him.
Yeah. And I also have a question, if that's possible, because like you came up as Sri Krishna being the original spiritual master. And someone was asking, how can we see that they had heard from other meeting, Balaram being the first guru.
Hmm.
Do you know about this?
Yes, it's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'll share the verse with you. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has, you know, explained it.
Uh-huh.
So I'll
That's
share.
because, okay. Is that because, like, when he's Lord Nityananda, it
Yes,
comes with
so yes,
Chaitanya?
so
Is that?
yes, he's explaining that Nityananda is that personality only who is Adi Guru and who is, responsible for all the expansions. So first expansion is Lord Balaram, and then from Balaram other expansions are coming. So he's
Mm-hmm.
explaining everything in that verse.
Oh,
I'll
I
share.
see.
I'll share it with you. There are other texts also. I'll share.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so with this, we will stop here. It was very nice verse today. And from tomorrow, Krishna will start speaking. So, yes. Okay, let's stop. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki,
Jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.
Jai.